The Drifter is a pleasant step back into the classic Sierra or LucasArts style storytelling and point-and-click adventures I didn't realize I missed as much as I did. It's a thrilling voiceover narration of life, death, and the looping consequences, backed by a fantastic cast of voice actors and detective gameplay that builds around exciting tension. Each chapter pulls you closer to the truth, while each one grips harder than the last. If you're the kind of person who loves being driven mad by a tightly well-crafted story, do not even think about skipping out on this title, because it's one to dig yourself into and enjoy for yourself. The story follows a man named Carter who unexpectedly dies after a series of events, but despite being killed, he doesn't stay dead. Instead, he keeps looping back 15 minutes before the instance, armed with a fractured understanding of what just happened. Branded as a killer in a string of recent murders, it is up to you to guide him through the gritty streets of this story-rich, pixelated world of mind-numbing loops. While this isn't a choose-your-own adventure or a story with multiple endings, the narration still carries the weight of regret that sticks with you and the main character until the very end. We mentioned Sierra and LucasArts because they're the easiest comparisons, but this is very much its own thing. It's a narrative-driven, puzzle-solving adventure with its own distinctive art style that sets it apart from something like King's Quest or even Sam & Max. This is not a comedy. It is a thriller that pulls you in with a deeply immersive narrator describing the events in real time, like he is reading aloud to an audience.
But then, every neuron of my brain firing all at once, tearing apart, twisting out in all dimensions, then contracting, speed of light, back into nothing.
That mix of being drawn into a story while feeling somehow disconnected, like somebody is talking down to you, creates this weirdly satisfying blend. The game's theme of being trapped between lifetimes and cycles until you go insane is unique, and you rarely get this experience with most games. You're playing as Carter, but he's also from another time, whispering the events in the back of your mind until you get goosebumps. It is your job to piece together the solution as the story unfolds, no matter how many times things get out of control. The solutions for every encounter are not obscure, so you're not going to lose your mind trying to figure out what you need to do, as everything is pretty clear if you pay attention to the wording. If you do end up getting stuck in a chapter like 4 or 6, where it is easy to miss some objects or interactions, the developers thankfully thought of this, so you can check the Steam discussions. There you will find hints that do not spoil the whole solution, which will help you progress the story without ruining the game. The Drifter is a very short game in which you will need to piece together items from your inventory, thinking outside of the box and figuring out what exactly is needed to move the story forward. So don't rush it. Enjoy the ride, consider your options, think about what you may have missed in a room for some extra dialogue, interact with everything, and then come back later when you've found something suitable. Let that satisfaction wash over you as the sense of accomplishment sets in, while immersing yourself in the story. For a game that prides itself on an incredibly strong story and voice acting, The Drifter has one glaring issue that is very difficult to ignore: the overabundance of black screens during the key events. It is something that will nag at the back of your mind as you play through it. Take another game like Minds Beneath Us, for example. Imagine a high-stakes action scene, but instead of seeing it unfold, you're just met with a black screen and either some voiceover narration or a few sound effects. That's the kind of experience The Drifter heavily leans on. And while I do still love the game, I do have the dock points for how often it resorts to this. It feels like a shortcut, like it's asking the player to fill in the blanks rather than showcasing what is happening before them, which would have elevated the scenes further, which then pulls you out of the entire moment.
What was... Oh shit. Sanjay! Behind you! It happens quickly. The Malinji's spike claw rips into Sanjay's guts, and I lower my head and charge the thing. Caught off guard, it stumbles into the lift. Sanjay rises to one knee, looks at the blood pooling in his hands, then up at the monster, and lunges for the door controls.
The game needed less black screens and more interesting cutscenes, which it does every so often. This is all it needed to be perfect. Perhaps this style of gameplay isn't your thing, but I do hope you'll reconsider. It can be slightly challenging and the story is fantastic, keeping you full of curiosity right up until the very end. The puzzles were very satisfying to solve, never tedious, and the writing was firm and strong, backed by an excellent cast of voice actors. I'm always interested in any detective or short stories that offer a thrilling ride through the mind, whether that's Killer Frequency, Mouthwashing, Apotheosis, or anything in between. The Drifter offers a solid 5 to 7 hours of point and click gameplay backed by an unforgettable story.